Good evening. If you guys can have a seat, we're getting ready to get started. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. On behalf of Belleville Public Schools Parent Organization, we welcome you to tonight's memorial debate. This event is organized to provide our community, especially our families, with the opportunity to hear from the candidates on issues that matter most to Belleville residents. We appreciate everyone who submitted their questions. While we couldn't include all of them, we do thank you for your participation. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our moderator for the evening, Maggie LaGruda, a Belleville resident and parent. Maggie will now review the format and rules and begin today's debate. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, we ask that all attendees remain respectful throughout the evening. Please hold all reactions, comments, and interruptions so that we can maintain a fair and productive discussion. This event is being recorded and it will be made available following the debate. To ensure a fair and structured discussion, the following format will be observed. Each candidate will be given equal time to respond to each question. Responses will be generally limited to 1 to 2 minutes. Rebuttals will be permitted after questions as time allows and also will be limited. No notes or electronic devices are permitted at the podium. Time limits will be enforced to ensure fairness. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our candidates. Mayor Michael Melham. And Councilman Frank Velez. Thank you both for being here. And again, please, no clapping after every time they say anything. Let's try. Okay, question 1 is for Mayor Melham first. Urban planning and land use planning.
Oh, we're not introduced.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot all about the introductions. Sorry, guys, it's my first time being a moderator. But yes, we do want to introduce. All right, that you're allowed to clap for. We do want to introduce the candidates running for council. Mayor Melham, would you like to introduce your team?
Sure. My team consists of 2 amazing women. I call them the dynamic duo. Our current deputy mayor, Ms. DePena. She's going to come on up. And my dear friend, Ms. Yolanda Luna.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Naomi DePena, and I am proudly the first Latina elected to council here in Belleville. And while I believe that that is very important, I believe that because representation matters, what matters most is that I've done the job and that I've done it well. Leadership is about more than just showing up when people can see you. It's about showing up when no one can see you, the things that people don't know. So I've served this community for over 20 years as an educator, as an ordained minister, as a parent. I am also a small business owner creating career opportunities and serving our communities, and most recently now as your deputy mayor. So during this time that we've served, if you have been here in Belleville for more than 8 years, you know that Belleville is today better than it was 8 years ago. And I'm asking for your vote so that I can continue building on what we've already created. This is definitely important because we've made progress, and this is not a time for us to start over. It's a time for us to continue building on what we've already created. So remember my name, Naomi DePena. I'm here to serve you and ready to continue building a better Belleville together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yolanda Luna, and I'm running for town council. I'm a Belleville resident for over 30 years. I'm a mom. My 2 older children have graduated from the Belleville school system, and I still have a child in the school district. I believe that Belleville has seen much progression, and I want to continue to see this progression move forward. For 20 years, I've been actively involved in our schools, our recreation programs, serving in leadership roles across the elementary, middle, and high school, and coaching youth sports. I'm running because I care deeply about this community, and I believe that listening to the residents, communicating clearly, and following through the issues is what matter most. I'm ready to bring the commitment and experience to this town council, and thank you everyone for being here.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to speak a few words now?
So this is what, on my,
Just introducing yourself.
sure. So this is opening remarks.
There
Got
you
it.
go.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I want to thank and acknowledge the Belleville Parents Organization for organizing this, and certainly the school district for hosting us today. I know it's not an easy job. I had committed to multiple debates, and this is the first one we're actually doing. So congratulations to you. I know it's a big effort. I really do appreciate the effort. I've been saying for a while now, this election is about contrast, not just between my clear record of accomplishments, my experience, my ability to actually lead this township through 8 years of struggles and trials when we first got inherited here. But it's a contrast between the Belleville of 2017 versus today's Belleville. And that's something that really is important, because I do feel that 8 years ago, Belleville was a community that was losing its way. Our sense of community was gone. We had boarded up houses. We had litter on our streets. We had blinking neon lights in our main commercial districts. We had empty lots as you left Newark and entered Belleville. It was something that you could not tell the difference between one community and the next. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished in the last 8 years. We've quintupled the amount of field turf we have in Belleville. We've built parks, recreational facilities, Belleville's first track, ADA playgrounds, dog parks, pickleball courts, playground, basketball court, community gardens, rooftop amenities, great restaurants, great bars. So much so that the Montclair Girl blog has covered Belleville not once but twice in the past 4 years. That's something to be proud of. We've revamped our recreational facilities, our senior services. We've invested in technology, our first responders, in upgrades, technology, and even personnel. We've done a lot in the last 8 years, and guess what, everybody? We've done that by averaging a $68 municipal tax increase over the last 5 years. That's a fact. That's $68 over the last 5 years alone. I'm proud of what we've done here. I want to stay here. I want to make sure that we accomplish everything. We continue to go forward in building a better Belleville. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, would you like to introduce your team, please?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to be calling up. Yep. Thank you. I'm going to be calling up Danielle Wells and Michelle Rodriguez up to the podium. Guys.
Well, hello and good evening, Belleville. How are you doing tonight? So my name is Danielle Wells, and I'm going to let you know I'm having a little vocal issues this evening. I'm not usually this raspy. So my name is Danielle Wells, and I am running for Councilwoman at Large here in Belleville, alongside Michelle Rodriguez, Councilwoman at Large, and Frank Velez for Mayor. And together we do represent the We Are Belleville team. I do want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity, Crystal, Amanda, and Jessica. I know it was no easy feat to pull this together, so we truly appreciate that. So I just want to share a little bit about who Danielle is and why I'm running. So Belleville is not just the place that I live, it is the place that I raise my family. I raised my family here with my husband, who is a Belleville resident. He's been here for centuries, along with his family, who's been here for, he hasn't been here for centuries, sorry. His family has been here for generations. Thank you for that. by profession, I do work in the financial industry as a branch manager, which means that my specialty is helping families and small businesses succeed financially. Another one of the things that I do is I look at expense reports and budgets on a daily basis. I'm going to pause for that. So,
Is that I didn't know that was our buzzer. That's
no,
not ours.
no, that's the schools. It goes all through the night.
All right.
Yeah. So speaking of schools, I am also a leader over at School 7 with the Parents Organization, which means that I do get exposure to our families, our local families, and a lot of them are my friends. And our conversations these days have been looking like how things are getting less and less affordable. Maybe you are that family that takes your family out to dinner every Friday, and now that might look like every other week because you're being a lot more intentional about how your money is being spent. That same discipline is what should guide how this town is run.
Ms. Wells,
Yes.
we're running out of time.
Oh, okay. All right. So on that note, I just want to say thank you for having this opportunity to be here. My name is Danielle Wells, and I am running, and I am asking for your vote. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Rodriguez. I am a lifelong resident here in Belleville. I am a product of Belleville. I graduated from Belleville High School, and my teachers inspired me to become a teacher. So I went on to become a bilingual ESL teacher, and I've advocated for my students and families, which is why I was awarded Governor's Educator of the Year in year 2021 to year 2022. And now I'm ready to advocate for all of you. Why is that? Well, because town hall, I feel like there's no communication, no clear communication at all, and you deserve better. And I'm going to make sure that I hear you out first before I make any decisions. The development, more responsible. I'm going to settle down here. I'm going to raise a family here. My family is here. I am a daughter of immigrants. So I'm gonna let that sink in. So I've worked for diverse families, and I'm gonna work for every family here in Belleville. You'll count on me, I know you will. Thank you.
First off, thank you to the Belleville Parents Organization for hosting this event. I am so incredibly grateful, and thank you to the current mayor for attending. I am extremely grateful for him being here, for you all being here. And first off, I just want to say, again, this is about the future. This is about the next 40 years of Belleville, not just the next 4. And my name is Councilman Frank Velez, and I've had the privilege of serving this community in so many different capacities over the year. See, my family came to this community because we wanted to have a family life. We wanted to know our neighbors. We wanted to feel comfortable in this community and be in a community where we know that moving forward, we're going to have an opportunity, and everyone in this community has an opportunity to succeed and to grow. And I believe that for many Belleville families, that opportunity is closing. For the many who can barely afford to get by, for the many who are concerned about what's going on, not just in town, but across this country, and for the many who are questioning, what does the next 4 years, what does the next 14, 40 years look like? And I want to tell you right now, I'm committed to staying in Belleville long-term because this is where I want to start my family. This is where my future is going to be. And I have had the pleasure of fighting for Belleville on both the Board of Education and the council. And I'm asking for your support to fight for it as your next mayor. So as we go through this debate, we're going to be talking about a vision, we're going to be talking about facts, and we're going to be talking about how I intend, alongside a team, because that's what this is about, not just one individual, but a team of people working together to move this town forward. So I look forward to a productive debate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. Now we're going to get into question number 1. This one goes to you first, Mr. Mayor. It's on urban planning and land use planning. Residents have expressed concerns about overdevelopment in Belleville. How would you balance new development with preserving the character of the town while also utilizing vacant and underused spaces to support local businesses and economic growth?
Thank you for the question. So again, I think that question is going to be a matter of opinion. I'm not quite sure. The majority of Belleville thinks that Belleville is overdeveloped. I'm not saying that we're doubling down on the future on development, because since the last 4 years, we've actually slowed development. Since 2018, when I got elected to our reelection in 2022, development slowed. There were over 900 apartments that were approved just prior to our election in 2018, and only 450 by our reelection, which means that we slowed development. That being said, Belleville, whether you like it or not, is an urban township. Our demographics say that we're urban. Urban means dense. It has nothing to do with ethnic makeup or anything like that. It has to do with proximity, how many cars you have, how many dwelling units you have. And I will say that we've really worked hard with, one, the first 5 developments that are our largest developments that we inherited. I think I've gone out of my way to prove that. We've worked hard to make sure they stay in the commercial districts. They're on Washington Avenue. They're not in your residential neighborhoods. They're not in Rutan Estates. They're not all over the town. They're in the commercial district. And they are paying huge dividends. Whether or not the few that think that pilots are bad or we don't get revenue from it, that's a lie. Hopefully tonight we get to expose that. That's a total lie. We've been getting a lot of revenue through those developments. That being said, we also look at open space. This is the first administration in 50 years to actually purchase land for open space. This is the first administration in over 50 years to acquire not 1, not 2, but 3 empty lots specifically to make sure that we have parking. We've addressed those needs, and it's something I look forward to continuing that conversation throughout the night.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, I'll read the question again for you. Residents have expressed concerns about overdevelopment in Belleville. How would you balance new development with preserving the character of the town while also utilizing vacant and underused spaces to support local businesses and economic growth?
That's a great question. Number one, I want to start off by saying overdevelopment is not an opinion. It's what we're all living with. It's what we're all experiencing. It's what I hear every single day. It's what I see every single day. And it's what you all see every day and feel every day. So that's number one. I hear some feedback in the background. If we could just lower down a little bit. Thank you. Getting back to the question. Overdevelopment is not just opinion, it's what we feel every day. And when we talk about development, we need development in any municipality, but it's about responsible development. We do have to think about the effect of development on the school district, and that's not just about how many children are brought from the developments, but the actual cost. Because per child in the state of New Jersey, to educate a child is over $20,000. So let's just say at the bare minimum, a development brings in 10 children, that's over $200,000, right? And they're not making a direct payment to the school district. So we do have to think about the numbers. We do have to think about the effects. And when we talk about responsible development, yes, we do need responsible development, and we do need things like senior housing. We do need more opportunities for businesses to grow, but we have to think about the effect on the character of the community, the effect on our schools, and we have to think long term. And that is my opinion on development.
Thank you. Mayor, you have a rebuttal for that?
Sure. First of all, we do have senior housing in Belleville. That's something I'm very proud of. Not only do we have 1 subsidized wing, but in my administration, we've added a second. We're just getting ready to approve a whole nother development. That being said, what is it that you want to see on Washington Avenue? Do you want those empty lots as you cross over from Newark into Belleville, whereby you can't tell the difference? Do you want the contaminated lots that are there? Or do you want to see a building there that's generating revenue? The lot on Belleville Avenue, the lot on Washington Avenue near the Newark border, that was paying Belleville residents $30,000 a year in taxes. Today, that building does $900,000. We have preserved the community. We have Rutan Estate. We have winding roads. We have an urban area called Silver Lake. We have a commercial district called Washington Avenue, if you like that. We have something for everybody. If you want to see New York City, you can live on our hilltops. We still have everything here in Belleville. Belleville hasn't changed. It's still the same Belleville, just not with the empty lot.
Thank you. Moving on to question 2. Councilman Velez, this is for you first. Taxes and affordability. How will your administration manage rising costs while minimizing the financial burden on homeowners and renters?
Thank you. So number one, talking about just for context, in our form of government, one person cannot do that alone. It's about a team. It's about an entire council coming together. And when you talk about costs, it's about working with the township professionals who have experience, deep experience when it comes to the finances, but also working alongside the council and having individuals from all walks of life that can provide greater insight into how we could appropriately spend our money, number one. So it wouldn't just be up to me, it would be up to a team. And some of the ideas that we've spoken about on the campaign trail that on day one we could save money on is talking about the benefits, right? So when we talk about responsible spending, it starts from the top. We as township leaders cannot tell everybody that they need to live within their means. They need to cut spending, but not cut spending on ourselves. So on day one, I'm going to work alongside my team on the council, if we have the privilege to serve you as your next mayor and council, to work with the council members to eliminate the benefits. And when I talk about the benefits, the $50,000 current benefits that council members are entitled to for full-time health care. And that on day one is going to save tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think we also need to tackle the lawsuits in this township because it's getting out of control. We just saw a $250,000 lawsuit that was settled in this township. And that is a shame, that is ridiculous. And we need to do everything we can as leaders to prevent lawsuits like that and do everything we can to live responsibly ourselves. Because we can't tell other people to be more financially sound, but not do it ourselves as elected leaders. We need to be within our means, and we need to learn to do more with less.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, the same question. How will your administration manage rising costs while minimizing the financial burden on homeowners and renters?
Thank you. I think we've managed those costs, and I'll get to that in a minute, but maybe during the rebuttal, my opponent can talk about win or lose, whether or not he is actually going to give back the cash benefit that he receives from the health benefits. Win or lose, you have the option to do that come July 1st. Let's see if that happens. That being said, our health benefits do not cost $50,000. Again, we're seeing the inexperience of somebody who doesn't know how things work. 18 months in office doesn't give you the ability to know all the answers. Our benefits don't cost $50,000. That's another lie. As mayor, you're the chief administrator. You sign every single contract. So guess what that means? Every time a township gets sued, you're going to get sued. We've actually limited the amount of payouts in the last 8 years or so down to 2, where we used to have multiple six-figure payouts every single year before me. That being said, listen, energy costs are up, grocery costs are up, gas costs are up. There's nothing a mayor or a municipal council is going to do about that. Nothing. They're telling you that, they're lying to you. Tonight, you're going to hear it straight from me, because I give a straight and concise answer. They're not going to do that. But here's what we've done. We've managed the municipal budget. As I continue to say, all the accomplishments that we've had by managing a $68 tax increase on average over the last 5 years. That's how we can do it. We also have a $22,000 grant to help low-income people fix their houses up. When I got elected, that fund had $13,000 in it. Guess what that fund has now? $4 million. And guess what? We're under a state mandate to fix 325 low-income houses. How are we going to do that without that $4 million? By the way, that $4 million is not taxpayer money. That was paid by developers. So again, maybe during the rebuttal, my opponent can sit there and explain how he's going to fund that if we don't have pilots, we don't have development. I know how he's going to fund it, by you. That's the only way to do it, everybody. We have done that. We've managed the municipal budget, a $68 tax increase, and look at every single thing that we've accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder, please hold your applause so that we can keep it moving.
Okay.
Councilman, you have your rebuttal.
30 seconds?
Yes, a minute.
A minute. Perfect. Okay. So, number one, the benefits do currently cost about $50,000. You can get it directly from the township as of the 2025 user-friendly budget. This information has been made public for some time. Number two, I will give back the $3,000 in the payout if he gives back the over $100,000 from both the cost of the lawsuits and the cost of the healthcare benefits. All right? So if we want to
Please
talk about
hold
giving
your
something back,
applause.
I'm more than willing to do that if he's going to do the same. And talking about the development, I never once said we're going to say no to all development. That is a lie. What I said is we need to have responsible development. If we're going to do a pilot, They're going to have to pay more to our schools. They're going to have to do more for our community, not pay the minimum payment. That is the fact. So that is my rebuttal to that, to those inaccuracies that were stated.
Thank you. Okay, next question, Mr. Mayor. Budget transparency and oversight. What steps would you take to make the municipal budget more transparent? And how do you view the mayor's role in financial oversight alongside the town manager?
Thank you. So, and that's a great question, because I think people truly don't understand this form of government. We've heard it throughout the campaign, we've even heard it tonight, that everybody's got one vote. Well, if everybody's got one vote, why do you want to go from being council member to mayor? That's a great question that people should be asking, because if all votes are equal, then what's the difference? So there is a difference. The mayor is somebody who sits on the budget committee. I've sat on the last 8 budget committees, along with 2 other senior council people. We sit with our professionals, we ask those questions, we sit with our department heads, we understand that government. I'm going to keep saying it tonight because people don't truly get it. An average budget of $68 over the last 5 years. That is unheard of with rising costs. Have we done that? We've done that by lowering the amount of employees we had. Last 2 State of the Township speeches, I talked about there are less employees in Town Hall today than there were when I took over. Something I'm proud about. Compare that to the school district where our former superintendent hired 300 new people in 3 years alone. That's where your taxes are going up. I get it, your tax bill's got my name on it or Town Hall's name on it, but it's reflective of county, school, and municipal. Again, we've held the line on that. Also, what we've done for transparency. When I got elected, Belleville didn't have official social media channels. Now we do. Belleville didn't have a decent website. Now we do. All the documents are up there. We live stream every single council meeting. We have a budget hearing, and guess what? Sadly, about 6 residents show up. We do all that. We put it out there for residents that want to know it. You can't come to the council meetings, you can watch the live stream. You can't get to the council meetings, you can call in. We've done a lot of things for transparency and accessibility. We have a full-time CFO. We have a fantastic finance department. We're doing really good things in Belleville. We have a user-friendly budget that people can go view. We've done everything. We've gotten accolades at the state level, again, for holding the line on taxes. That's the best way to keep your lives more affordable, keeping more money in your pockets so you could spend it how you want to spend it.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, same question. What steps would you take to make the municipal budget more transparent? And how do you view the mayor's role in financial oversight alongside the town manager?
Thank you. So number one, on making the budget more transparent, I think we need to actually bring the budget and talk about the budget to the community. And that means actually holding community meetings throughout Belleville, throughout the wards, and talking about the costs and how the costs can be better allocated for each neighborhood. Because a budget is about priorities, it's about values, it's about what we're willing to commit to in each area of town. Because each area of town is very different. The problems in Silver Lake are not the same as the problems in Rutan Estates, and we have to make that clear. And talking about holding the manager accountable under our form of government, while we are limited in what we can do, we do need to ensure that with the manager, number one, if they need to be removed, we need to remove them. If we need to hold them accountable, we need to actually communicate with them and we need to walk the streets with them. We have to get back to the basics. We need to have goals in this township. There are no mission statements. There are no direct goals of what we want to do. You see campaign flyers where there are goals, but you don't actually see goals listed on the township website. So I think we need to all work together as a council, 7 members, because at the end of the day, yes, our votes are equal, but as a leader, as a mayor, I'm going to bring everybody together because what we've seen is division. What we've seen is nastiness, pettiness, disrespect, and not a friendly working environment, and the lawsuits show it.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you have a rebuttal?
Sure, we have absolutely seen nastiness and pettiness, and I will say it's not on my side. Go on social media. Check out my social media channels. You'll see all kinds of stuff being said about me on social media. I don't think any of my supporters are on the other side of social media saying the things that are being said. I don't think that happens. We talk about campaign literature. Let's talk about campaign literature. Transparency and accountability. My campaign literature from 4 years ago is still on my website. You could all go check it out. We can't find the campaign literature from 18 months ago when he ran for council, promising he was never going to run for another office, yet he immediately ran for state assembly, and now he's already running for mayor. That being said, the role of township manager versus the mayor, very simple difference. Town manager is the CEO. The mayor basically is the oversight. The mayor signs every single contract, so I have a stake in that. When the township gets sued, I get sued. We have professionals that sit with us from township manager to CFO. They advise us, but at the end of the day, the budget committee, which I've served on for the last 8 years, makes the recommendation to the governing body, and that's why we've done so good in this township over the last 8 years.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, next question to you first. Parking and accessibility. Many neighboring towns have implemented permit parking programs. Would you consider this in Belleville? And how would you balance the needs of residents, businesses, and visitors?
Thank you. Number one, yes, we need to be open to permit parking. There are already streets in Belleville that have permit parking, and we need to do it on a neighborhood by neighborhood approach. There are other municipalities that follow this approach because, as I just stated, the neighborhood of Silver Lake, the White Oaks section of Belleville, Rutan Estates, they're all extremely different. So if we're going to institute this permit parking, number one, we need to have an assessment of parking, which I've called for. And number two, we need to go to the neighborhoods directly as a council, as leaders, and to listen to the neighbors and to see what they want specifically in their neighborhood. But the answer, yes, we do need to consider it, because when you look at the buildings that are being built, when they don't have adequate parking for visitors, and you're seeing that spill on to the neighborhoods, and you're seeing, right, there's already a lack of parking spaces to begin with. We're just compounding the issue. We're making it worse. We're kicking the can down the road, and we need to make more responsible decisions now for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, same question. Many neighboring towns have implemented permit parking programs. Would you consider this in Belleville? And how would you balance the needs of residents, businesses, and visitors?
So first, we have it already. That's a great question. We do have it already, but let me just back up 1 second. I said at the beginning of this thing, this night's going to be about contrast. Tonight, you're going to hear from me facts, figures, numbers, and things we're doing. You're not going to hear, I'm open to it, I'm going to look into it, going to consider it, or if we do it. Because the fact remains, we are doing it. Belleville has permit parking on our border. Belleville has ADA parking. Before me, there were no additional municipal lots in 50 years. We bought not one, not two, not three, which actually helps the business district on Washington Avenue and helps alleviate the parking in Silver Lake. We also have a pilot program. I'm assuming my council colleague doesn't know about that. But we started a pilot program specifically for permit parking to try and weed out illegal apartment. I've sat with the school district. The township manager and I have sat with the school district to discuss that. A little bit of roadblocks there legally, but we are addressing it. And it's astonishing that we could sit here and as somebody who's on the governing body, who's privy to the same information I am, that sits in the executive meetings, doesn't know that we're already doing this. In my private life, I run a business. That business is in government technology and communication. I have 50 government contracts, and I rely on some of those expertise to tell me what's going on. The township just had a meeting with the North Bergen Parking Authority. Why is that? Because they're clients of mine. I've known them 20 years. We've had 2 meetings with them, and we actually just went to North Bergen to do a visit because we are going to implement a pilot program specifically for permit parking, not because we want to charge you for parking, but we want to try and root out some of the illegal apartments because that's what's taking up your space. 20 years ago, I had a 3-family house that I lived in. We had 2 cars, my father and my uncle. Nowadays, that house could have 8 or 9 cars in it. That's the problem. The buildings that we've built are overparked. Again, I'm shocked that my council colleague doesn't know that. We exceed the state mandate as far as parking. Not only do we exceed the state mandate for on-site parking, but we also require visitor spacing. That's something that all residents should know. I'm shocked my council colleague doesn't know that.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. So I was definitive. I did state that I do want to do permit parking, but we have to do it right, right? You don't just want to hear somebody say, we'll do it, but not actually hear the details and the context. So yes, it does need to be community-centered. It does need to be dependent upon the neighborhood. And yes, we do have them currently on the borders, like I stated in my original statement. And when we're talking about the parking, yes, when we look at the building, they are contributing to the parking space and the already depleted parking spaces. You can't tell me otherwise. It's not a matter, again, of opinion. Go to Greylock Parkway, okay? Go to the buildings surrounding the new developments. This is not just me saying something. You can see it with your own eyes. I hear it every single day. So again, this is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of fact. You could see it yourself. You could feel it. And this is the quality of life that we are talking about here. The most important thing in this township. So that is my answer.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, the next question for you is on public safety. Residents have raised concerns about safety and quality of life related to certain properties in town, including some hotels being used for temporary housing. How would you address these concerns while ensuring public safety and appropriate oversight?
I'm sorry, I was whispering something. Can you just repeat the beginning of that question? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. Residents have raised concerns about safety and quality of life related to certain properties in town, including hotels being used for temporary housing. How would you address these concerns while ensuring public safety and appropriate oversight?
So I understand the needs and the fears of community members, whether or not they fear crime or they feel not safe. I will say that Belleville is an unbelievably safe community, and that's in part because of our great Belleville Police Department, a department that I am proud to, for the second time in a row, enjoy their support and their endorsement. The prior mayor was a police chief. He was never endorsed by the Belleville Police Department. I will say they do a great job. But as far as directly addressing some of those needs and concerns, we've heard those needs. I'm somebody who says something, then delivers it. So 2 years ago, we talked at the Status Township about my future need or my future desire for a police substation in Silver Lake. Guess what? We just opened up that police substation in Silver Lake. Not only is it a police substation, but we have community policing there. They're walking up and down the streets. They're talking to the residents. They're talking to the business owners. They're getting graffiti removed. Not only is it a police substation, but it also does two things. It also alleviates parking in the area, which is great. I'm somebody who, when I say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And a lot of people have been asking me, what does the third term look like for me? Does it look like we pour more gasoline on everything? No, I think we've accomplished a lot. I've already talked about the fact that we've slowed development, and it's going to continue to slow. All the big buildings are done. You're going to see some small stuff here or there in the main commercial district. What are we going to focus on? Quality of life. What do you see when you're on Washington Avenue now in the morning? DPW walking up and down, cleaning it up. What do you see now in the corners of major intersections? Plantings and planter boxes. That stuff never existed in Belleville before. Residents really love to see DPW doing that. They love to see the planter boxes. That's the small little things that we're addressing, and the third term is going to be all about quality of life, and parking is actually one of those.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, same question. Residents have raised concerns about safety and quality of life related to certain properties in town, including hotels being used for temporary housing. How would you address these concerns while ensuring public safety and appropriate oversight?
Great question. So this goes back again, accessibility, presence in the community. We need to walk the streets as elected officials with township professionals to the neighborhoods. We need to actually be there, see the problems, and talk about them and act on them, right? And that takes collaboration, right? It's not just about one person, it's about a team. And we have to do that not just for one part of town, every part of town. That's why we've committed to having over 48 ward meetings throughout the year, one in each ward a month, because we actually need to be present in the community, but in every part of the community. Because when I go to Silver Lake, they tell me, we need more attention. And yes, when we talk about the substation, a team worked together and got that done. And I think that's an important point because yes, it takes collaboration and it takes many different individuals to come together. And we did come together as a council because I do believe in additional investment into our police because I come from a law enforcement family. We need to be able to support our public workers. We need to support our law enforcement. We need to support our town workers. And we need to support our residents by listening and being there.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Mayor?
Sure. So just to circle back to the exact specific part of that, first let me say this. You know, they say that emulation is the highest form of flattery. When I first got elected in 2018, we promised to walk Washington Avenue. And we did that, not just the elected officials. We spent 4.5 hours with our professionals going up and down the street. Guess what? That's why now you see DPW cleaning lots. That's why now you see planter boxes. I was tired of the graffiti. I was tired of the trash. That's why. So we were on the ground. We've been on the ground. I've missed about 6 community events in the last 8 years alone. I am embedded in the community. Trust me, I hear it all the time. But let's get specific. Those buildings. We didn't hear specifics on the answer before. So nuisance. Belleville has a nuisance law. Brand new, about a year old. And guess what? That means every time our police department, our fire department respond to one of those hotels, we log the call. We know if it's an overdose. We know if it's crime. We know if it's domestic violence. Guess what? We keep a log. We have a ratio. And when they hit so many different complaints in a certain month, we can actually find them. If we keep finding them, we have the ability to pull their license. That's something that we've done in this township. So
Thank
therefore,
you.
I'm proud that we've been able to deliver that.
Thank you. Next question to you, Councilman Velez. Recreation and community. What specific plans do you have to improve recreational programs and facilities in Belleville? And how will you ensure they remain accessible and affordable for all families?
Thank you. I've heard this a lot on the campaign trail. I've heard this from many families throughout town. When we talk about recreation, it's not just about children, it's about seniors. And we need to think about a holistic approach to looking at all of our residents and their needs. And when we talk about recreation, what we really need to do is think about ways that we can save money but work together, and that's through shared services. And I think we need to put greater emphasis on that with our Board of Education. As a former Board of Education trustee, I know about the wealth of talent in this school district, and I know there are many opportunities for our municipality and our school district to work together, to come together, to cut costs and provide access to opportunities that one body might not have that the other has. So number one with that. And talking about the specific services, I think when we talk about recreation, it's not just about kicking a ball, it's not just about getting a slice of pizza, it's also about wellness. We need to expand wellness opportunities for all ages in this township. We need to get people out of their homes, off the phones, and in reality. Okay, we are in the age of AI. We need to provide spaces and opportunities for all ages for people to come together, and we need to do it affordably, like the question asked. And we do that through more shared services with our school district and working with different partners, different nonprofits, and continuing that mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, what specific plans do you have to improve recreational programs and facilities in Belleville? And how will you ensure they remain accessible and affordable for all families?
I'm not sure there's any facilities left to improve. I mean, in the last 8 years, we have quintupled the amount of turf we have. When we got elected in 2018, understand this, we got elected in 2018, Belleville had one turf field that was 10 years past its life expectancy, the varsity field. We quintupled that. We partnered with the school district for number 8 school to back that funding. We've created pickleball courts, volleyball courts, basketball courts. We've created regular passive parks. We're creating a food truck park. I think we've really improved our recreational facilities. We've improved our programs. Talking about seniors. I wanted senior aerobics when I got elected. The town wasn't doing it. Guess who funded the first 2 years of it? I did. We got Tai Chi yoga. We got chair yoga. We brought all that in. I paid for that through my civic expense, and now the township is actually doing that. Those programs have evolved, and guess how much it costs? $25 a year for a senior. I think that's fairly affordable. Our summer camp program is renowned. Again, we didn't have a summer camp program to speak of before we got here in 2018. We created the program about 4 or 5 years ago, and guess what? It is the cheapest summer camp program around. You will not find a cheaper summer camp program that offers what we offer. When we talk about affordability, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I do think that we've done a great job at our recreation facilities, our programs, our senior programs, and I think we've done that in a very cost-effective manner, not only for paying for the services, but also the bottom line to the taxpayers at only a $68 increase over the last 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Velez, would you like to have a rebuttal?
Yes. Yes. So when we talk about the fields, yes, when we look at the collaboration between the school district and the council, this is what I'm talking about. Because I was there. I worked with my colleagues, and we worked as a team. So yes, there have been some collaborative approaches that have yielded some success, and we need to build on this success. Because it's not enough to just say there's no improvements needed. There's always room for improvement, and especially now. People feel it. You hear it from the families. You hear it from the residents. You see it. So yes, there is room for improvement. Yes, it's not just beyond the fields. It's talking about consistent wellness programs for seniors. It's talking about additional ways to save money. It's talking about additional opportunities when it comes to shared services. So yes, there's a lot of room for improvement, and we need to work together to make that happen, and we need to work with the school district to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, we're one team, we're one Belleville.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, the next question for you is education funding and accountability. Given that the Board of Education is independent, how would you collaborate with district leadership to promote transparency and responsible spending while protecting educational quality and minimizing the impact on taxpayers?
But one of the misconceptions that I get often when I ring doorbells throughout town or speak to residents is, what are you doing about the schools? When are you going to build a new school? When are you going to fix the schools? When are you going to improve the test? That's unfortunately not the role of mayor in this form of government. We are a separate entity. The Board of Education has their own government. They have their own elected officials. They have their own administration. That being said, it's absolutely our role to work with them, and we've done that. We partnered with them on many projects. We went out and actually secured the funding for the School 8 turf field. That was a great partnership we have. We're talking about maybe partnering on a recreational center soon. Once they get out of a $500,000 lease that was approved only a couple years ago that's choking the school district, maybe we could actually get the land together and build a recreational facility together. That being said, we have to support them. They support us, we support them. They have their job to do, and we most certainly have our job to do. I am fiduciarily responsible for the municipality, the elected official and the Board of Education responsible for them, but we absolutely can work together. It's up to them. I can't stop them. I can't stop a superintendent from hiring 300 new employees in the last 3 years. You want to talk about your taxes going up? Again, I know the tax bill comes in township of Belleville. We've kept the line on taxes. But when you have a superintendent that's out of control with people that allow him to do whatever he wants, 6-figure leases and 300 new employees over the last 3, you know what that does? The whole municipal staff is only 350. They hired another government in 3 years. What do you think that did to your taxes? They have to hold the line, no doubt. We're there to support them, be there with them, and try and cut costs through shared services when we can. At the end of the day, school district needs to step up and do what they have to.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, given that the Board of Education is independent, how would you collaborate with district leadership to promote transparency and responsible spending while protecting educational quality and minimizing the impact on taxpayers?
That's a great question. And we're talking about transparency and accountability. I think when we look at the budgeting, we think about the raises that we've seen from the Board of Education. We also have to factor in what is causing those raises. And we do have to factor in the loss of revenues from what we're seeing is the over excessive pilots, right? Because we are paying more as a township, as a community, right, for our schools, because again, even if we're just having just 10 children, that's over $200,000 in the state of New Jersey, the bare minimum cost. So we're seeing additional costs from that. We're seeing healthcare costs. We're seeing teachers out. We're seeing everything go up. But we do, as a township, have a responsibility to make decisions that are going to benefit the schools, whether that be the development, whether it be the opportunities for our young people to get more involved with government beyond just the summer programs. We should be instituting and working to institute more apprenticeship services, more internships, a feeder program for students earlier, not later, to learn about municipal government, learn how it works for those who are interested, and help them get opportunities earlier rather than later. These are some of the things that the township can do. We have some incredible young people in this township, and we need to do everything in our power to support them, and we need to do everything in our power to support the schools, because there are so many opportunities to work together with our school district. I know it. I've seen it from the other side. I know the talent that's here. I know the opportunities and the instruments that we could use together to move our education system forward, and we can do it in the way that we could do it from the council.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, rebuttal, please.
Sure. Listen, you can keep saying that pilots and buildings are adding to the school system. They're not. I told you today you're going to hear real facts and real figures from me. You can choose to accept it or not, but we have the real data. So the newest building that we just opened up is 268 units. That 268 units has 11 school-age children, and guess what? 3 of them already lived here. That's 8. 8 across 268 units. These buildings are not negatively impacting the school district. They are not leading to overcrowding. As a matter of fact, the revenue that is generated, and again, it's just, I don't know if it's ignorance or they just like lying to you. The school district does get tax money from pilot. Don't let anybody tell you differently. They get tax money from Pilot. That's an absolute fact. And they get more money when a building is on that property. That's a fact. Guess what's a fact too? These are real numbers, everybody. 17 out of the top 20
10
taxpayers
seconds.
in Belleville, property taxpayers in Belleville, are commercial properties. How many kids do they contribute?
Thank you.
None.
Thank you. Moving on, next question, Councilman Velez. Illegal housing enforcement question. Residents have raised concerns about illegal apartments and basement units in Belleville. What steps would you take to enforce housing codes while balancing tenant safety, property rights, and overall quality of life?
I think we need to spend further attention, more time working with our code department, working with the manager's office, and collaborating with the school district because they have access to records that we don't, and working in a way that is legal and that we are able to utilize to identify some of those illegal apartments. Because when you look at this school district, there has been greater attention in recent years that has been put on the amount of students who are here who are actually living in other municipalities, and we need to put more attention to that, and we need to put more energy into working with the school district specifically, because again, they have access to more records than we do and able to follow up on that. So I think when you talk about enforcement and when you talk about, actually enforcing it, you need a plan, but you also need a way to execute. And there has been some conversation on the council, and the current manager has been talking about this and working on this. But again, there are difficulties, especially in the legal system here in New Jersey. I think we need to spend more time working with the school district on that and utilizing in the ways that we can legally to assess and to identify and to follow up on these illegal apartments, because they are affecting the quality of life here in Belleville. They are taking up parking spaces, and they are also contributing to the school district.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, residents have raised concerns about illegal apartments and basement units in Belleville. What steps would you take to enforce housing codes while balancing tenant safety, property rights, and overall quality of life?
It's definitely an issue in Belleville. There's no doubt about that. I mentioned just now that council has talked about that. We've done a lot more than that. We've actually met numerous times, school district. We've met with the prior superintendent. And at that time, believe it or not, we were blocked from working with them. Why is that? Because the school district gets paid per head. At that time, the then superintendent had no interest in removing kids from classrooms because they got paid per head. We remove 100 kids, they get that number from the state less $100. So we got blocked there. Nice part about that, though, is the brand new super has engaged. We've had multiple meetings already about that. This isn't conversation at the council level. These are meetings during the day. When I leave my job every single day to go meet with them or join them on a Zoom, we've had those conversations. But let's talk about overcrowding. Last summer, there was a fire around the street from my mother's house. Two-family house on Oak Street. 22 people came out of that house. That's a problem. That's a public safety problem. That's a life safety issue for those people living there. But guess what else it is? It's a parking problem. It's a school overcrowding problem. This is an issue. We've engaged the prior superintendent. We got nowhere. We're finally getting somewhere with the new superintendent. We've had numerous meetings about that. That's why we've engaged them when they talk about re-registration. We want to be involved in the re-registration process so we could issue the CO, so we could find out how many children are in that house, we could find out how many bedrooms there are. The school district's legally not allowed to ask those questions, and they cannot share certain information for us. But if we work together and we actually do the inspections, we can get that done. Those are not conversations. Those are active meetings that are happening, and I'm expecting a pilot program very soon.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, rebuttal?
So we're talking about progress, we're talking about collaboration. That also means collaboration on the council. So when we're talking about someone having meetings on behalf of the council, the entire council should be made aware. The entire council should be in the loop, and the entire council should be a part of the conversation. So when we're talking about having meetings with the school district, and we're talking about different development in regard to potential pilots, when we're talking about potential plans, the whole council needs to do that. That's what being a leader is. You fill everybody in, you work together, you get everybody on the same page. That has not happened.
Thank you. We'll do one more question and then we'll take a short break.
I'm okay if we don't. You don't need it.
Okay, if you want to keep going, we can do that too. Sure. Mr. Mayor, this
What
is
number
for
are we
you.
at, by the way?
This is 9.
Yeah, I'm fine.
On vision and leadership. What do you believe is the most important change Belleville needs in the next 4 years? And how would you lead that effort?
Let's talk about leadership. When we got elected in 2018 and I became mayor, we immediately had a crisis. That crisis was called COVID. There was no playbook. We didn't know how to handle that. We got through that. A steady leadership matters, and that's something that every single voter in this room needs to really consider before you make a vote come Tuesday, May 12th. Right after we got through COVID, guess what happened? The Newark-led water crisis. Guess what? We got through that. And because of my relationships with the mayor of Newark, not only did we get through that, every single house in Silver Lake already has their lead line water replacement done. Every single resident got it done. So I called up the mayor of Newark and said, if you're going to do Newark, we're on your infrastructure in Silver Lake, you got to do that. That's what leadership looks like. Let me say something. You can't choose when the next crisis comes, but you can choose the leader you want to lead you through that. I think over the last 8 years, I've proven that steady leadership, not only as the mayor, but also as the deputy coordinator of OEM. While the township is in an emergency mode, whether that's COVID or a lead line issue or a hurricane, and OEM stands up, guess what? The township manager is not involved. The police chief's not in charge. The fire chief's not in charge. OEM is. I'm part of that team. I'm on those calls in the middle of the night. I'm on scene when a crisis happens. And that's the question I think everybody has to ask themselves tonight. I think this is about contrast. And I think every single one of you, including all the voters that are watching us today on TV, need to sit back and say, who do you think is going to lead you best in the future? And more importantly, who's still going to be there and not try and seek a different office 6 months in?
Thank you. Councilman Velez? Vision and leadership? What do you believe is the most important change Belleville needs in the next 4 years? And how would you lead that effort?
Thank you. I think the most important change in Belleville is getting back to the basics. When we talk about the quality of life here, we talk about the overdevelopment that we're all experiencing. We need to talk about how we need to act on making development more responsible. We need to ensure that when we're talking about a parking crisis, we actually work to get it done. We actually work when we're talking about development long term, how it's going to affect our school system and making sure that our schools are protected, that they are receiving the funding that they deserve, that our community is receiving the support that it deserves. And it's not just one part of town, it's every part of town. It's not just the northern part, it's Silver Lake, it is the Valley, it is White Oaks, it is Silver Lake, it's everyone here in this town because they need the attention, we need the attention everywhere. And we need to talk about long-term, what kind of community do we want to be? Do we want to be a community where people want to live here long-term? Do we want to be a community where we were for many years, where people came to Belleville and they stood, they died in Belleville? Or do we want to be a community where we're just a stop by, or just a pit stop? Just come by, you stay a few years, and you just leave. Because right now, that's what's happening. Many Belleville residents feel it. You could see the transiency where people, they come into Belleville, they see what's happening, and they leave after a few years. We need steady leadership, yes. We need leadership with experience, yes, but good experience, but also good judgment. And when we're talking about judgment and a vision, we've spoken about a vision. We've outlined goals, whether it came to senior issues, overdevelopment, quality of life, parking throughout this entire campaign, getting back to the basics and putting the people first. But I want to address some hypocrisy because when we talk about somebody running for office within their first 6 months of their term, first year of this term, my opponent's not talking about how when he was on the council, he quickly ran for the state assembly.
Thank
so
you.
let's talk about the hypocrisy.
Thank you, Mr. Velez. Thank
you.
Mr. Mayor, would you like a rebuttal?
Sure, I really didn't hear any answers to rebut, with the exception of the last comment, actually, which was the most hysterical. So when I was on the council, again, I was a young council person too. I was 25 years old when I got elected. And guess what I did? After 4 years, I left office. I started my business at 29. My business is now 21 years old. I now employ 10 different employees. I have 50 government contracts. And then, after all that life experience, after all that work experience, I came back at the age of 42 to run for mayor. That's the contrast. But to answer directly, I was actually hoping that was going to come up tonight. The difference is this. My opponent signed a pledge not to seek higher office. Within 6 months, he ran against our state assembly people. Within a year, he's running against me now after signing a pledge. The difference between him and me is I was asked by my party to actually run for the state assembly. I didn't challenge my party. And back then, you could hold dual offices. I could have stayed a council person and an assemblyman if I got elected. That's not the case today.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we are running right on time here, so you don't need a break. We're going to move right into a few more questions. This is not the lightning round yet.
I thought we were at 9.
Please refrain from clapping. Okay, so this question is for Councilman Velez first. Youth investment priorities. What specific investments would you prioritize for youth development, and how would you fund those initiatives?
Thank you. I think we need to prioritize, again, like I noted before, we need more internship opportunities, more apprenticeship opportunities for our youth, not just those who are interested in government, but also those who are interested in various fields and working with our local businesses here in town, supporting our local business community and connecting our youth with them. Because not everybody has access to certain opportunities. We know that. And we need to do everything we can to expand those opportunities to every family, every walk of life, and all youth. Because look, it's tough. It's not easy. Many of our youth are looking for a mission. They're looking for a drive. We just need to give them that opportunity. We need to give them that chance, and we need to give them that step so they can go up that staircase to success long term.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, what specific investments would you prioritize for youth development, and how would you fund those initiatives?
So I think that youth mentorship is a very important topic, something that mostly happens with the school district, but we've been seeing a big change at the local level here at the municipality. Why is that? We've actually created the environment for youth to hang out, relax, enjoy recreation, enjoy passive space. I remember talking to children that were talking about a soccer turf, a futsal field. They said, you know what, Mayor, we don't play the soccer. How about we convert that to to volleyball? And we did that. So we've invested in the recreational facilities for them. We've invested in our recreation programs, not just sports, not just sports. We actually have invested programs probably in our library, whether they're chess clubs, whether they're robotics clubs, 3D clubs. We really have done a great job at all levels, not just in our recreation department, not just in town hall, but as somebody who takes the Belleville Public Library with pride. Not only am I a trustee, I appoint every single member. We're doing some really great work there, especially with teens. A ton of programs there. I really wish more residents took the chance to check them out and learn all the offerings that we have there. But we have. There's mentorship programs there. There's ESL programs there for parents while the students or the children are getting serviced. We have a lot of those programs. Listen, you could always do better and always want to do better every single day. But I think we've done a lot so far. We continue to pour gasoline on.
Thank you. Councilman, do you have anything else you'd like to say, rebuttal?
So yes, there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of additional resources and attention that we need to give to our youth. And when we're talking about our youth, it needs to be full frontal. We do need to work with the school district. We do need to work with our local businesses, and we do need to connect with the families. And that is my additional comments for that.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, Washington Ave businesses. Would you consider conducting outreach, such as walkthroughs with Washington Ave business owners, to better understand their concerns and improve the overall appearance and economic vitality of the corridor?
Sure, I've done it. We did it day one on the first week we were in office in July 1st, 2018. We spent 4.5 hours walking it with members of construction code, with the township manager, with the police department, with the health department. We've done that. I've continued to do that. I work on Washington Avenue, so I can tell you firsthand the problems on Washington Avenue. Guess what's the big problem on Washington Avenue? Double parked cars, cars blocking driveways. Guess what we have now on Washington Avenue? Parking enforcement. Belleville never had a parking enforcement program before. Why? Businesses were complaining that you couldn't get into their businesses. They were blocking their driveways. We've now got a parking enforcement program. We never had that before. I heard the residents. We have a Belleville business owner on Washington Avenue in the back of the room, my friend Gustavo. In visiting his store, he talked about no parking. Well, guess what? Almost directly across the street from him now, you know, the old DeWitt Bank, now it's Santander Bank. Look to the left of that empty parking lot. Guess who just bought that lot? The Township of Belleville. That's going to be our third municipal parking lot to help the businesses on Washington Avenue. That being said, there's also a state program going on right now. The 3-year program, $14 million to redo Washington Avenue. It's going from a 4-lane highway to a 3-lane highway. Don't blame me if you don't like it. That's the state's plan. It offers bump outs to allow pedestrians to easily walk back and forth. It allows bike lanes, makes it more walkable. They're eliminating some trees. You might not like that, but guess what? I've heard the business owners. The business owners truly believe the trees block their vision of their storefronts. So I've heard them. I've met with them. I'm in and out of those stores every single day. I work on Washington Avenue. I've actually lived on Washington Avenue. We have been incredibly responsive, from parking enforcement to litter pickup to planting boxes to brand new municipal parking lots. We've done a lot on Washington Avenue.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, would you consider conducting outreach such as walkthroughs with Washington Avenue business owners to better understand their concerns and improve the overall appearance and economic vitality of the corridor?
Yes. And I've actually visited our businesses, not just on Washington Avenue, throughout Belleville. I've actually had an initiative, the hashtag Buy Belleville initiative, where we've gone to businesses all throughout Belleville, spotlighting them, giving them a platform, and showing the community both the potential that we have in this township for our businesses, as well as the current business owners who need further support, who need further assistance. That's a daily endeavor, right? That is a consistent need for support. And when we talk about our businesses, I think not only do we need to connect with them as a township, we also need to support them and look at programs that they can have an opportunity to invest not only back into the community, but invest in themselves. We have to look at establishing a Belleville business district, like in Bloomfield with Bloomfield Center. We need to give them more attention, more opportunity, and more of a platform to support not only our community, which they do every single day, but themselves, and ensure their success, because at the end of the day, it's our success.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, any further comment on that?
Just real quick, again, you're going to hear specifics from me, not generalities. We have looked at a business improvement district. We've actually had work discussions on it. We've had the vendors come in. We've explored it. Unfortunately, the businesses on Washington Avenue did not want it. It's called a BIP, a business improvement district. You see it in Newark, see it in the Ironbound section. They have the vest on. Unfortunately, those things are funded by the business owners. And the business owners are already paying either rent or tax on their building, and they didn't want it. So guess what the township did? We put DPW on Washington Avenue to clean it. We put planter boxes on Washington Avenue. Now it's cleaner, it's better. And one thing you will never see on Washington Avenue, leave here tonight and drive there at nighttime, you will never see blinking neon lights on Washington Avenue, because we think that that doesn't look good for a business district. We have an image to uphold, and we're starting to uphold that, and I'm proud of the work we've done.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, flooding and environmental concerns. What is your plan to address reoccurring flooding issues in Belleville? And what long-term solutions would you pursue?
Thank you. First off, I think we need to assess the overall result, not just of specific development, but the overall result in different parts of the township when we see flooding, right? Because currently, when you look at the development, yes, there are developments that are required to look at flood mitigation on premise, but we do need to look at long-term how the combination of all development has contributed to the flooding in specific areas of town. Because I will tell you, there are different areas that are seeing a big uptick when it comes to the flooding. I can tell you in front of my house, it's a whirlpool at times when it never was before. So we need to look at, in specific areas of town, how the development and other contributing factors are making the flooding worse. And we do need to work with our neighboring municipalities, not just in the bordering communities, but also the county, the region. And we do need to really put more of an emphasis on the flood mitigation, because it's a combination of different things, and we need to look at that.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, what is your plan to address recurring flooding issues in Belleville? And what long-term solutions would you pursue?
So I don't think it needs to be looked at. I think I'm going to tell you exactly what's already been done. I've been in the river over by Bridgebrook. I've stood there. I've been in that river cleaning it out. I've been there with the Army Corps of Engineers. I've been there with Passaic Valley. And guess what? The Army Corps of Engineers has said If they can't fix Mother Nature, the municipality's powerless to do so. So what we do is we try and get Passaic Valley in there as much as we can. As a matter of fact, today I spoke to DPW. They're there either right now or going to be there over the weekend to pull a tree out of that river. That's the small things we could do. But as far as instead of looking at things, let me tell you about what we've done. These large buildings that you see on Washington Avenue, again, most of the approvals predate me, but there's something called a major project designation. That's something that means something. That means they build a pool under the ground. So when all the rainwater hits the roof and comes down the downspouts, rather than overwhelming the infrastructure, guess what that pool does? It holds it, it retains it, and it slowly disperses it into the infrastructure. That's something that's being done to actually mitigate flooding. That's a good thing. That's something that we should be very proud of, that these buildings have that. Last, let's talk about environmental cleanup. Anybody, old Belleville, been here a long time, 38 acres, Main Street on the North border. Empty, contaminated, polluted land, not giving you any tax revenue. It was so environmentally polluted that the condos next to it, I should say the apartments next to it, which are co-ops, couldn't even become condos because their water was so contaminated back in the day. Guess what? 50, 60 years that sat there contaminated. Guess what it is now? It's a beautiful, light industrial warehouse producing no kids and throwing off a lot of revenue to the township, and it's environmentally clean. No more contamination.
Thank you. Councilman, rebuttal?
Yes. So regardless, as I spoke before, when we're talking about the individual flood mitigation on the buildings, the development as a whole and the trends as a whole have contributed to more of the flooding. And what we also need to do is we need to think about the grants, and we need to think about federal grants. As somebody who's worked at a federal office, I know there are so many different grants that we would be not only qualified for, but we would benefit for. And when you look at the grants, we need to invest further, because just recently we started compensating one of our grant writers, and we need to actually think about expanding that effort, being more aggressive, seeking out more grants, not only federal, but also state and county. And we need to be more aggressive, not just when it comes to the flooding, but with so many different issues, because we need to think about not only how to make change here in Belleville, but to make it affordably, because we do need to think about the taxpayer and everything we do.
Thank you. Final question before the lightning round goes to Mayor Melham first. Affordable housing. Belleville is currently in compliance with the state's affordable housing requirements. Would you support going beyond those minimum requirements to include affordable units in future developments? And how would you ensure those opportunities benefit current Belleville residents?
So you're absolutely correct. Belleville's affordable housing obligation met. That's not said by us, that's said by the state of New Jersey. They have a ratio. They look at inventory and how much apartments cost, how many people you have, and they strike that ratio. So Belleville the state told us that affordable housing obligation is met. But guess what the state also said? The state told us that we have 10 years to fix up 325 lower income homes that are owned by those that have lower income. Well, guess what? As of right now, that would be on you, the taxpayers, to fund that. But guess what? Because we met our affordable housing obligation, those new buildings that everybody talks about are not obligated to do low-income housing. What they are obligated to do is pay 1.5% or 2.5% of their construction costs. That could be $300,000, $400,000, $900,000. Remember that fund I talked about in 2018 that only had $13,000 in it? Now it's got $4 million in it. Without those developments, funding that, again, it's not taxpayer money, you, the taxpayer, would be under that threat, or would be under that obligation to fund the repair of 325 housing. Again, that's a state mandate. That's not something we can say yes or no to. We have to do it. Without that fund of $400,000 offering $22,000 grants to low-income people, and it's not that low income, by the way. For a family of two, it's $150,000. You can get that $20,000 grant. You can get the county $22,000 grant. That's $44,000 to help fix up those 325 units. That's not taxpayer money, which is great. Without that development money in that pot, you would be paying the difference.
Thank you. Councilman Velez. Belleville is currently in compliance with the state's affordable housing requirements. Would you support going beyond those minimum requirements to include affordable units in future developments? And how would you ensure those opportunities benefit current Belleville residents?
Yes, that's a great question. So when we talk about the context, there was the Mount Laurel Doctrine that is 50 years old when we talk about development that affects every municipality in New Jersey. So Belleville is classified as an urban aid municipality. So what that means is we are not required to build more housing. So yes, it's about remediation, but this is where we can make development work for us. So when we talk about what we can do going beyond what we're already required to do, that's being more aggressive with senior housing. That's being more aggressive when we look at units that can be subsidized by the higher rents that you're seeing in the buildings for existing Belleville residents. So if you're seeing high rents, right, if we're going to do a future development, let's make sure that there are more spaces of an existing, not only existing, but an affordable unit for Belleville families who are living here. And when we're looking at, broadly speaking, development, we need to be practical and we can make it responsible. So again, it goes back to development as a tool to benefit residents who are already here, not just big developers who are largely financing our campaigns.
Thank you. Mayor Melham, rebuttal?
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that answer. I'm still not sure how he's going to repair 325 units. That being said, Belleville actually has senior housing. We have a subsidized senior housing project located directly behind the senior house. That is an entire wing of subsidized senior housing. There's a second wing on that building. That is actually market rate senior housing. And guess what? We've actually spoke to a developer, the Soho project on the corner of Franklin Avenue and Belleville Avenue, a project, again, that predates me. We were never thrilled with that project. You know what we did? We sat in the redevelopment committee, talked to him and said, listen, how about we do this? How about you offer at least a couple floors for 55 and older housing? And he did that. And I just got the report today that that is beginning to lease up with additional 55 and housing opportunity. That being said, there's also development that's on track right now. I'm hoping to have my council colleagues support on that. The 177 units, the first phase of that is 55 and older housing, which is great. It's a great rateable for the municipality. It does not negatively impact the schools. I'm expecting my council colleague here to support me on that.
Thank you. That was the last of our questions, so now we're going to move into the lightning round. The lightning round, unless you need a break. Anybody want a break? All right, let's keep going. So for the lightning round, it's the same format, but it's short, direct questions, and it's only a 30 to 60-second response, no rebuttals, but you will each get the same question. Okay, we will start with Councilman Velez. What is one immediate action you would take in your first 100 days?
Remove the full-time benefits for the council, for future council members, and not take them, myself and my team not taking them, because that's an immediate savings of over $100,000 in just 2 years. We need to live within our means and we need to spend responsibly, and that's not just for people below us, quote unquote, it's also for us ourselves. We need to cut back and we need to start cutting back ourselves and saving our taxpayers money on day one.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, what is one immediate action you would take in the first 100 days?
So before I answer that, I'll just rebut. Let me tell you something, people, you are being lied to. Our benefits are not full-time. There's absolutely there's absolutely nothing that calls our benefits full-time. Our benefits do not cost $50,000. We are self-insured. I myself get an annual physical and 2 allergy medications a year. I probably cost the township $1,500 to $2,000. That's a fact. You would think somebody serving on the council would actually know that. If he removes 7 council people, you do not save $350,000 from your health care, everybody. If you want to challenge me on that, come to the very next council meeting and ask the professionals in the room if eliminating 7 people will save $350,000. Who in this room is going to come ask that question? You, Mr. Fleischman? You, Ms. Fleischman? Come ask that question, because that's a lie. He either doesn't know it, which is shameful, or he's playing you. That said, I'm going to double down on quality of life. I'm going to visit every single business like I usually do and make sure I check in with them to see what we could do to best support them.
Okay.
It's 30 to 60 seconds and you will be removed. Okay. He gets to speak without interruption.
Maggie, with all due respect.
Notice whose sides it is.
Maggie, with all due respect, you said we were not
allowed
to
rebuttals.
rebut.
We both had the same question.
There is no rebuttal, and he can take his time to say whatever he wants. His time is,
Okay.
He's got 8 more seconds.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Lightning question number 2. Mr. Mayor first. Would you prioritize keeping taxes flat or expanding services?
Prioritize keeping taxes flat. So that's your definition of flat. Is flat zero? To me, we've always, again, with the budget committee, we sit there and we always want to come in with a respectable number. Our goal is always less than $99. Most of the people in this room are going to go out tonight and probably spend $99. The fact that your taxes maybe tick up a little bit, that's okay. Less than $99, we're okay. We've averaged $68. Why is that? 350 employees, 350 retired employees, costs just like in your home go up, whether it's pension contributions or it's your property and casualty insurance. Costs go up every single year. If we're not finding that new revenue, whether it's cannabis or pilots, where are we going to get the money from? We have to get the money from the taxpayers. I don't want to do that. The average tax increase has been $68. That's something I think is fair and reasonable, far more fair and reasonable than the Board of Education.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, would you prioritize keeping taxes flat or expanding services?
I think right now we need to lower the brunt that the taxpayers are already facing, and we need to make cuts on ourselves right now to balance that. So I'm going to go back to my original answer of we need to spend less on ourselves, spend more on the people, and more on the services. So that means less benefits for the council members, more benefits for the community, less lawsuits, and more investment in the community. We need to be responsible with the spending because this is the people's money.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, I believe you go first for the final question. What is one neighboring town doing something well that you would want to bring to Belleville?
Great question. So when I look at Nutley, I will say, here's a compliment for them. They stand up for their seniors when the snow comes down, right? Because all throughout Belleville, I hear it on personal property. When it snows, many seniors are terrified, and they have a snow assistance program. And I promise you, I am going to work to make a similar program here in Belleville by working with the Board of Education, because our students need volunteer hours. We need to connect our students with our seniors. We need to support them because they have worked their entire lives for this community and made it what it is. We can't leave them behind. We need to stand up for them. And this is something that is a quick fix that we can get done realistically, and it's already happening in municipalities throughout New Jersey.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, what is one neighboring town doing something well that you would like to bring to Belleville?
First, let me just say, it's a quick fix. You could do it now as a council person. Just do it. That being said, I work in about 50 different municipalities. I work in 50 different municipalities. I work in North Arlington. I work in Lyndhurst. I have close relationships with the mayor of Nutley and the mayor of Bloomfield. I know what they do well. The reason why Belleville has a summer concert series is because I saw what Lyndhurst was doing their summer concert series. The reason why our DPW walks Washington Avenue is because I saw North Arlington do it. I'm out there. I know these mayors. I know these communities. I work in nearly 32 of them, 50 total. I know what they do. We've copied it. We've seen it. We've taken the good and the bad. We've taken the good, not the bad, because I've seen it over the last 21 years that I've been in business. We've copied them a lot. Our senior services are second to none. I think that we copied, Lyndhurst had a great summer camp program. Guess what Belleville has now? A great summer camp program. Lyndhurst has chair yoga. Guess what Belleville has now? Chair yoga. I've already seen what other municipalities do. I'm out there with my life experience, my professional experience. I've already brought many of that here over the last 8 years.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our questions for this evening. Thank you both very much. We would like to give you each a few minutes to make some closing remarks. Well, no, a few more. They get 4 to 5 minutes each. Wow. Councilman Velez, you would get to go first because the mayor introduced himself first.
Thank you. So I'm going to start off by saying, again, how grateful I am for this opportunity to stand before you as a candidate for mayor, and thanking you all for coming out tonight, because this election will not just affect the next 4 years of Belleville, it will affect the next 40. And I believe that my experience as a councilman, a former Board of Education trustee, and as a worker at the federal level, and seeing how municipalities all throughout New Jersey and 3 different counties, over 50 different municipalities operate, that we can bring both experience with a fresh perspective, because our families, our seniors, our residents, and their quality of life is tantamount. I'll tell you, I will be an independent voice on the council. I will work with all of my colleagues on the council because this is a team approach. This will never just be about me. It's going to be about a team. This is going to always be about Belleville at the end of the day. And I promise to you that I will work on your behalf every single day if I have the opportunity to serve you as your next mayor. And I believe there are so many different issues that we are seeing that we need to tackle immediately, whether we're talking about the overdevelopment, whether we're talking about the quality of life, whether we're talking about basic respect and what kind of example we want to set for our children in this township, there is a lot of work to do. And I am committing myself to this because I believe in Belleville, because we are Belleville. This is where my family came, right? This is one of the first Latino families on the block. And today I have the opportunity to run to potentially be the first Latino mayor. I mean, that's insane to me. And it's about an American story. It's about a Belleville story, that people from all over this globe can come to a community, can work hard to move places with a determination for a better world for us all and for all of our residents. Because whether you're from Silver Lake, whether you're from Route 10 Estates, the Valley, or White Oaks, there is so much opportunity to move Belleville forward. And I promise you, I will be a mayor that puts you first. And I promise you, I will be a mayor that will show you respect at all times. I'm always going to keep decorum. I'm always going to ensure that when I make a decision, it will never negatively impact or cause embarrassment to this community, right? Whether it be when we're voting on different developments, whether it be my own personal actions as a leader, I will always think about how this affects our township and how this affects not only our present and our future, because our residents are owed the best. Our residents are owed someone that they can look at and they could say, you know what? He's doing his best. He shows respect. And you know what? When things get tough, he won't yell at you. He won't go down and dirty. He will not question your race. He will not question your ethnicity. He will stay humble. He will stay honest. And at the end of the day, he'll always do his best. He'll always stand up, and he will work as a team. And that's what I promise you today. I'm going to put you first. I'm going to do everything in my power to fight for you as your next mayor. And I'm going to do everything in a way where you see it, you feel it, and at the end of the day, you could say, you know what? He left things better off than when he started. And that's going to be my goal. Because if I don't, then I won't seek another term as mayor, because people shouldn't be sitting in these seats for too long. That era of politics is over. We got to move forward, and we need to put Belleville first, not the big developers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Velez. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, he's somebody that definitely doesn't sit in a seat long, that's for sure. I started out saying today that when I gave my opening remarks that today was going to be about contrast. And I think today you heard that. I think you felt it. I think you saw it. I have the real numbers. I have the real answers. I have the real years, the real dates. I have every single thing that you need to know. I say it, whether you want to hear it or not. But just to address a couple of things that you did hear today. You were lied to about pilots. They do generate a lot of revenue for the municipality, and they do add revenue to the town, to the Board of Education. You heard a lie about overdevelopment. He's trying to convince you that he's running on overdevelopment. Guess what? 4 years ago, the second ward council person, the then second ward councilman who was there for 20 years, ran on overdevelopment. And guess what? We won almost 2-1. What does that tell you about the electorate? They don't believe what he's saying about the overdevelopment. That's not true. And guess what? That second ward councilman that ran against me 4 years ago just formally endorsed me. What does that say?
Please don't interrupt. Let's show some respect and let the mayor finish.
You also heard lies about the health insurance, and Ms. Fleischman, I will take you up on that offer to come and ask the question. Whether or not you eliminate 7 council people from the health coverage, does that save $350,000? I have your word you're going to come ask that question? And then you're going to talk about it on social media afterwards, because unfortunately there's only about 5 or 6 people in the audience that day, and maybe about 10 or 20 live streaming it. We need to get that answer out there. You're being lied to. You're being lied to. I don't lie. I give you the answer whether or not you want to hear it or not. That's a fact. That being said, I'm a taxpayer. I pay a water bill. I think that should be a criteria to being mayor. I think you should have a tax bill. I think you should pay a water bill. Guess what? I'm also an entrepreneur. I sign both sides of a paycheck. I've been a leader through crisis, through COVID, through the NORC-led water issue. I've led that way. Ask yourself this. Who do you want during the next crisis? As I said, you can't pick and choose when it comes, but who do you want to be there when the next crisis comes? Somebody who's running for position today and maybe seeing another office in 2 months from now? Is that what you want? You want somebody that doesn't have necessarily the life experience, that doesn't have the professional experience, the work experience? Is that what you want? I don't think the average voter out there wants that. I do know that there are some that certainly want that. And I can't speak to that much. But I can tell you that I've been a leader over the last 8 years. I can tell you that today's Belleville is far better than it was 8 years ago. I can tell you that I grew up in this town. I played sports in this town. I know seniors that came up in this town. The lives of all those people are different today than they were 8 years ago. And guess what? We did it without burdening the taxpayers. Your taxes haven't skyrocketed because of me at the municipality, everybody. We've added events. We've added summer concert series. We've embraced the 49% of this community that's Hispanic. Belleville never celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month. We do now. Belleville never had a Three Kings Day ceremony. I started it during COVID. We never did any of that stuff. Now we do. More multicultural events. We now have a very bilingual police department. Every single front-facing office in Belleville Town Hall now speaks Spanish. Guess what? When I first got elected, we didn't have one. That should have been insulting for every single person. That's what I did day one. I sat in town hall and I listened to an 8-year-old kid come and translate in construction code department. And then I went up and I said, what do you people do when somebody comes in that can't speak English? They said, we send them to the police department to talk to Roberta. And I said, well, I have not one but two problems with that. One, they may not want to go to the police department. They may not feel comfortable there. And two, Roberta's Brazilian and speaks Portuguese. That's even a bigger problem. So guess who the first hire was in town hall? The first hire in town hall was somebody that works in construction code department. Now we have a municipal clerk that's bilingual. Every single front-facing office in Belleville now speaks Spanish. We've embraced our community. We've embraced our community. We've reached out to them. We hold multicultural events. We've done far more than you ever got in Belleville. I'm born and raised here, everybody. I went to number 3 school. I went to middle school. I went to high school. I commuted back and forth to college. I can tell you that we are far better off today than we were just 8 years ago. And I can tell you there's only more to come. I respectfully ask people in this room, or more importantly, those watching on the live stream, to offer me another 4 years to do this, because there's no more big buildings coming, everybody. We inherited 4 of the largest projects in Belleville. We dealt with them well. Now you see some smaller projects. The big development is done. I've proven the statistics. My campaign literature from 4 years ago is on my website. I challenged my opponent to put his from just 18 months ago on his website. You can see it all right there, everybody. You can see it there. We're going to double down now on quality of life. And I'm not just saying that. That's not promises. You can see it. 2 years ago, I said it during the State of the Township that we're going to bring quality of life to Silver Lake, and we just delivered on that. I'm asking you for another 4 years so we can keep doing the good, hard work that I've been doing over the last 8 years. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We would like to thank both candidates for your time and participation in this evening. We would also like to acknowledge and thank all of the council candidates who are running and joined us this evening. Thank you to our audience for maintaining a mostly respectful and engaged environment. We encourage all of you to stay informed and participate in the upcoming election. This concludes our debate tonight. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you.